Every historic site, every monument, every heritage railway, they all seem to face the same big question today. How do you bring in all this cutting-edge digital tech without accidentally losing that authentic historical magic, the very thing people come for?
That tension is absolutely real.
Yeah.
You're trying to preserve sometimes hundreds of years of history, often, let's be honest, with pretty limited resources. And at the same time, you've got visitors whose expectations for digital stuff are just constantly going up.
Yeah.
So to really get how one place managed this balancing act and managed it well, we're doing a deep dive into a really powerful case study, the Tanfield Railway.
Ah, Tanfield Railway. And this isn't just, any old site. This is, well, it's huge heritage-wise. We're talking about the world's oldest railway. It's up in County Durham, northeast England. And just think about the timeline here. Its origins go way, way back to 1725, which means 2025 is, well, it's their 300th anniversary.
Yeah.
Monumental.
It really is. An organization that's seen 3 actual centuries unfold. And now it's got a plan for its 4th. So the mission for the management team there was pretty profound. They partnered up with n-gaged.io, that's an attraction management platform, and they launched this powerful new mobile app, plus the whole operator system behind it. The goal wasn't just like a digital leaflet. It was about fundamentally enhancing the whole visitor experience, professionalizing their communications, and crucially, securing that incredibly rich history for the next 100 years.
Securing the future by using the past. I like that. I like that angle. Just for context, for anyone who hasn't been this railway, it was originally built to haul coal down to the river time, right?
That's right. It's industrial roots.
And today, it runs, a 6-mile round trip, giving people this amazing atmospheric ride in these beautifully restored Victorian carriages pulled by steam trains. It's such a sensory thing, the smell, the sound, which makes adding digital tech even trickier, I imagine.
Definitely. And it's nationally significant heritage, run mostly by this massive volunteer effort. Keeping it all going is a huge task.
Okay, let's maybe unpack the business side a bit more. They're coming up to this massive anniversary, this tricentenary. They obviously knew they needed to modernize. But what specific challenges, what strategic problems did they need this digital solution to actually solve? Because it's got to be more than just a map, right?
Oh, absolutely. Far more. The challenges really hit at the core of sustainability for a heritage operation like this. They had, I'd say, 4 key strategic needs that kind of showed just how complex running one of these places is today.
Okay, number 1. I'm guessing funding's high on the list.
Always. First was funding and partnerships,
Yeah.
They needed a platform that could give sponsors and partners much better visibility and, crucially, demonstrable engagement. Sponsors these days, they want metrics, right? Not just their logo on a bench somewhere.
Right, they want to see the impact.
Exactly. Second, and this is critical for long-term survival, they needed data, real insights. They had to understand guest behavior, like where do people actually spend their time, what exhibits or stories get attention, and use that information to support smarter fundraising campaigns, plan events better, target their marketing, basically move away from guesswork.
Using tech not just to entertain, but actually to drive revenue and build a measurable supporter list. Smart.
Precisely. The third challenge was more around interpretation, promotion, really. Tanfield does amazing, award-winning restoration work behind the scenes, locomotives, carriages, but that's often hidden from the public,
Yeah.
It's vital to their mission, but hard to showcase. So they needed a dynamic digital way to promote this. You can share a cool 5-minute video of an engine rebuild on an app, much harder with a paper leaflet.
Good point. And the last one, scale, you mentioned. Heritage sites have those huge swings in visitor numbers.
It's exactly right. Busy summers, quiet winters. They needed a solution that could handle that flex, something that could scale up and down easily, be maintained without a massive IT team because they don't have one, and, critically, meet those rising digital expectations people bring with them. Instant info, connectivity.
So the challenge was clear. Deliver all that useful stuff, that efficiency, that deep content, but without just sticking a phone in someone's hand and making them ignore the amazing steam engine puffing away right there.
That was absolutely the tightrope walk.
Yeah.
The solution they went with involved combining this highly customizable mobile app for the guests with a real-time operator dashboard for the team. And that back-end dashboard is key. That's where they manage all the content, the messaging, the analytics, all in one place.
Okay, let's focus on the visitor side then. What specific tools, like hands-on stuff, did this app give people that really added to their day out?
Right, it became pretty essential, actually, both on-site and even off-site. For the basics, navigation. That's a huge pain point at any big site. especially one spread over 6 miles.
Yeah.
So they brought in interactive GPS mapping. You can easily see where you are on the road, find stations, signal boxes, engine sheds, nice viewpoints, all on a live map.
Ah, okay. That straight away cuts down on that, am I going the right way feeling. Find the lose, check the route without having to flag down a volunteer.
Exactly. Which frees up those valuable volunteers for the richer interactions, the history chats, rather than just pointing the way. But then for the real kind of historical magic, the app delivered immersive storytelling. They used automated mobile trails.
Automated trails. Hang on, how does that work when you're physically moving on a train?
Wow. Yeah, it's clever. These trails work whether you're on the train or walking around a station area. They use location triggers GPS, basically. So as you pass a specific bridge, or an old signal box, or some key historical spot, the app automatically brings up relevant content. Maybe some historical info, audio commentary, even old photos or video clips. It just queues it up for you.
Ah, I see. So the tech is serving the history, not distracting from it, giving you context right when you need it, looking out the window.
That's the idea. It basically turns the whole 6-mile line into this moving, interactive museum. They also massively improved just the basic communication side. Push notifications became really important. Think, real-time alerts. Maybe a train's running a bit late, or there's a sudden service change, or info on special events, volunteer days, even last-minute ticket offers. That kind of instant info is critical for managing the day smoothly and keeping visitors happy.
Yeah, if a train is 10 minutes late, knowing instantly on your phone beats standing anxiously on a platform wondering what's up. That's a huge plus for satisfaction.
Absolutely. And the third big feature was depth of content. The locomotive and carriage profiles. People love this stuff. You can tap in and get detailed info, technical specs, and crucially, those behind-the-scenes videos about the restoration work on specific engines or coaches. That's where they really showcase that amazing conservation work we talked about earlier.
And that kind of deeper content, it stays with people, right? It keeps that connection going long after the visit itself. It must be vital for building support and future funding.
That's the strategic win, really. The platform becomes this ongoing channel for engagement, sharing updates on restoration projects, fundraising campaigns, and importantly, giving recognition to sponsors. It helps maintain that loyalty long after the steam's faded.
Right, let's pivot to the results then, the hard data, because that's what convinces other heritage places, isn't it? The launch tied in neatly with the 300th anniversary push. What were the actual tangible outcomes they saw once they started digging into the data from that back-end dashboard?
Yeah, the ability to collect, analyze, and then actually act on that visitor information. That was the game changer, their biggest new asset. Before, they were often running on, experience and instinct. Now they have concrete data. The dashboard captures visitor trends, things like how long do people stay at Station A versus Station B, which walking routes are popular, which engine profile gets the most clicks.
And what sort of business decisions does that actually drive?
Oh, pretty much everything. It helps them tweak the timetable, maybe add an extra train if one part of the day is unexpectedly busy. It helps fine-tune event planning, focus on what people engage with, and maybe most importantly, it helps focus their promotional stuff. If the history of, say, one particular signal box is suddenly trending in the app, they know that's something people care about. Maybe that's where the next fundraising push goes. It's direct feedback.
Direct feedback, yeah. And what about building that supporter base, the financial lifeline? Did they see results there quickly in converting visitors to donors or members?
Fantastic results, actually, on metrics that directly feed into that. The implementation led to a really strong 58% email subscription opt-in rate via the app.
58%?
Wow. Just think about that number. In digital marketing,
Yeah.
getting anywhere near a 58% opt-in, that's almost unheard of unless you're offering something incredibly valuable.
That is staggering for any organization, frankly, let alone a niche heritage railway. It basically proves the content on the app wasn't seen as just noise, but as genuinely useful stuff people wanted more of.
Precisely. And that immediately boosts Tanfield's ability to communicate with supporters. It makes future fundraising campaigns much more efficient, lowers the cost of finding those loyal fans. It really shows if you invest in quality digital interpretation, the data and the engagement will follow.
And beyond the money side, there were other wins too, operational, environmental.
Yes, definitely. Operationally, just having better visitor navigation and that real-time communication about train times. It reduced uncertainty, reduced complaints, and directly improved their overall visitor satisfaction scores. Little frictions removed. And on the sustainability side, which is increasingly important, moving things like timetables, guides, complex site maps onto the app, well, it cut down their print usage dramatically. saves money, saves resources, better for the environment.
That's a perfect example of modernization doing two jobs at once, better experience and better bottom line. You mentioned David Watchman, the general manager, called it a game changer. What was the core of his praise? What really stood out for him?
He really stressed that the software wasn't just a gimmick. It was actively helping them drive measurable revenue growth. And it was giving them business-critical insights they simply couldn't get before. He specifically called it a game changer for the heritage railway industry because they helped raise awareness of all the ongoing work they do, and it delivered a much more personalized experience for each visitor. And that personalization, that connection, that's what turns a casual day tripper into someone who might donate or volunteer down the line.
So if we zoom out, connect this specific success back to the bigger picture, it really feels like a clear, practical blueprint for other heritage places, doesn't it? Especially those maybe nervous about tech. They've shown you can bring in these modern tools without sacrificing that core authenticity, that unique historical feel.
I think it does. It gives very actionable strategies for others in the sector. It shows how you can use tech to create really engaging digital trails, how you can massively improve communication with visitors using real-time updates, and, critically, how you can get those data insights you desperately need for smarter fundraising and promotion, all while making life easier for the volunteers, too.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Whether you happen to run a small local museum, or maybe you're just fascinated by how these incredibly old industries manage to survive in the digital age. I think this case study really shows that digital transformation, even in a deeply historic setting like Tanfield, it isn't just about convenience or looking modern. It's actually a critical tool for efficiency, for education, reaching all sorts of age groups, and ultimately for driving sustainable revenue. By stretching that engagement beyond the single visit, solutions like this are actively helping to secure the future for these vital organizations, making sure they're here for generations to come.
It definitely raises an interesting question to ponder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If a 300-year-old steam railway can use things like location-aware media, rich storytelling, to basically transform its business model, what historical story, what hidden gem in your community is just waiting for that kind of digital key to unlock its full potential?
Definitely something to think about. And on that thought, that concludes our deep dive into the Tanfield Railway case study.